and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, Castbox is your best option. Remember, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys. Good morning, good night. Thank you for choosing the Body Snatchers podcast. I'm your host, Tino, accompanied by Jay. Jay, what's going on?
Nothing much. How you guys doing?
Yeah, do you want somebody to respond? I'm not sure what that was.
I was
about.
hoping. Yeah, I was hoping. It'd be nice.
You never think, and that's your problem. Also, if we sound kind of funny on the audio podcast, we are currently dressed up as our favorite Spider people. I am in my Spider-Man PS4 ensemble, and Jay?
Me, myself, I'm in my Into the Spideyverse. You know, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it.
That's very urban and low budget of you. I can respect that.
Hey man, this is high quality right here.
You're like a young Lauryn Hill.
Come on, bro.
What? I see Sister Act when I look at you. That's not my fault. 2, to be specific. Sister Act 2. Now, if you guys are new to the podcast, do me a favor. Head over to bodysnatcherspodcast.com. Add us on all the social media links. Please make sure you subscribe. Jump in the comments. We definitely appreciate all that stuff. We like to interact. Let's be friends. Let's do it. Also, I would like to take a moment to shout out Pamela Martinez. She's one of our newest patron members, so we're really happy to have you. I couldn't add you last week, unfortunately, because by the time I got the notification that you joined, we already had the episode recorded. So, for that, I apologize on our lateness, but I got you. We're happy to have you. Happy holidays to you, from us, all of Body Snatchers. Jay.
Everybody, I love you. I love you the most. All right, so don't worry about what Tino.
Love's a little strong, Jay. You just met her, but happy holidays to you. Please ignore my creepy friend. I apologize in advance.
She don't know. It's okay.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And also, one of our patron members won the patron prize this last month, or I guess this month technically for last month, and he decided to be a white knight and say, I don't want this prize. I want you to give it to somebody more deserving. So we ran another draw, and Brian Hopkins, another patron member, was able to win that. So, congratulations, Brian Hopkins. Shout out to Gembu for being so nice, because that's actually the person who donated that. So thank you very much. It was very nice of you. Happy holidays to really all of you guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. See, now, who said that body snatchers aren't the nicest people in the world,
We are not the nicest people, but we do care. You don't have to be overly polite to care. You can be rude, but mean well. And I promise we mean well. Now, getting into the Spider-Verse, this movie was so freaking awesome. And I was surprised because Sony had everything to do with this, and Sony has let me down time and time again. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what they do. The Venom movie was aight. It's
at best.
We covered it. I think for what it was worth watching. But I'm not going to give it the kind of praise that I gave this Spider-Man movie. This legitimately might be the best Spider-Man movie I have ever seen. I personally think it was on par, if not better to an extent, than Homecoming. And that's a bold statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can feel that, though. I could definitely understand why you would say that. Because they kind of did their own thing. They stayed true in some aspects with the base material, but they did their own thing, and it was awesome. All in all, it was dope.
I mean, one thing I liked about it is they took the time to do a handful of scenes. Like, for instance, there's an area where Peter Parker is narrating, and they do a flashback with him, the animated version, doing like that Spider-Man dance that he was doing.
Yeah.
From Spider-Man 3, when the symbiote took over him or whatever have you. And it's a famous scene where people just constantly make fun of it because it's an eyesore. It's very offensive. I don't know what they were thinking. Poor Tobey Maguire. I like him, but boy, did he take an L on that. But they made fun of it in a way that you would expect like Deadpool or something to do. It was really tasteful and funny. I think the favorite thing about this movie at surface level would probably be the animation.
Yeah, I agree. It for me, it was reminiscent of the Borderlands or the Telltale series games, like all those, The Walking Dead and all that. It
Oh
reminded me
yeah.
of that in a way. But no, it was awesome. It was awesome, and it's unique. You know what I mean? Like it reminded me of that, but it was still unique in a way. I still haven't never seen it, especially on the big screen. You know what I mean? It was pretty cool that they went with that style.
Yeah, I mean, it was legit. Like to me, it felt kind of like pop art, but it was very, very comic-y. And it was, to the point to where there'd be areas where characters would be talking or certain sounds would be happening and comic bubbles would appear. Um, above them, like in the middle of the movie randomly, and it just made it so entertaining. You really feel like, or felt rather, that you were getting sucked into the page of a comic, even though it was an animated movie. It's just, I've never seen anything quite like it. Like they really did it tastefully, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, no,
I was gonna
definitely.
say, you just
Um,
gonna be awkward.
right. But no, it was awesome though, man. All in all, the visuals were cool, and I appreciated the audio. Because they had to make it somewhat urban for Miles, and when we were kids 30 years ago, we had Space Jam, and they were
Jay,
playing.
we were born 30 years ago.
You
We were
right?
not.
Look,
We were not children. I
I'm
mean,
just
we're
giving.
old,
I'm just
but we're not that
I'm
old.
just rounding it, I'm just rounding it up for them. I wasn't giving them specifics, but so when we
Okay.
were younger, way back when, all those years back, and we had like Space Jam, and it had R. Kelly, and that was something. That was probably as urban as it was going to get back then. But now,
Nah, this was tight. They had XX Senecom featured on some tracks. They had oh, I forget off the top of my head. Honestly, I heard X and was like, let me check it out. So whatever. I'm an X fan. Sue me. It is what it is.
I will.
Uh, Okay, well, you do that then. Now, there's a lot of spider people in this movie,
Hmm.
and I think it would be worth just lightly touching base on it because there's voice actors, and I apologize. I'm gonna take a quick look at this list that I put together just to quickly let you guys know who's in it, who they are. If you're not familiar, but at least you've got names so you can look it up if you aren't, and I'll have a short reference as well, just so you know. So, Miles Morales is played by Shamik Moore. That's the guy that was he played in Dope on Netflix, which is a great movie. Definitely check it out, worth your time. If we were just an urban podcast, I would have definitely covered it because it was one of my favorite movies. I really enjoyed Dope, so I was actually surprised. I didn't know he did the voice of Miles, but he did a wonderful job. Peter Parker was played by Jake Johnson from New Girl. Jay, that's your boy.
That's my boy. He did
Yeah,
it.
another great job. Gwen Stacy was done by Haley Steinfeld. She was in Pitch Perfect 2 and 3. So, look her up. Penny Parker was Kimoko Glenn. She was in Orange is the New Black. So, there's your reference there. Spider Ham was done by John Mulaney, and I didn't even need to look that one up. I heard John Mulaney's voice, and I knew immediately. He's got phenomenal stand-ups on Netflix. I think he's got 3 of them now. They're pretty good. He also took part in Big Mouth.
Yeah.
So, if you're a fan of Big Mouth, John Mulaney has a lot to do with the comedy on there. He, dabbles with some of the voices. All around great guy, and he did an amazing job as Spider Ham. Like I was laughing the whole time. I knew immediately, and I was like, this is my guy. So that's kind of where that's at. And then Spider-Man Noir was done by Nicolas Cage. That I didn't know. If you don't know who Nicolas Cage is, I shouldn't have to explain that to you. Shame on you. Maybe it's some young people on the show that don't know what Nicolas Cage is about. But if you've never seen Face Off or Ghost Rider, I don't. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
At
It's
least
Nicolas
National
Cage.
Treasure. At least.
Yeah, I give you that. Not it's not really my movie series, but whatever. But again, that's just to give you a quick highlight of who's in it, and the kind of
Hey man,
uh,
what
elements they're able
the
to bring
one
to the
guy,
table.
man, the one guy that played his dad, the guy from Atlanta, Brian something. I can't think of his last name, but
Thank you,
but
Jay. Our listeners
Paperboy.
are so happy that you have told us that Brian something is in the movie, you guys. If you didn't know, Brian something is in the movie.
It's
Thank you, Jay.
Paperboy, man. Paperboy is in the movie.
Okay, well, for our Atlanta fans, Paperboy's in the movie. Brian something. That's I'm so mad right now. I'm just gonna skim over what you just said. But yes, he plays Miles Morales' father in the movie, which is pretty awesome. It is what it is. Now, getting into the movie itself, there is a Stan Lee cameo, and I didn't say this on our last podcast, but there is a Stan Lee cameo done in Wreck-It Ralph as well.
Hmm.
So It warms my heart to see them, making moves and adding in these cameos and seeing them go on. Uh, rest in peace, Stan Lee. We love you. We joke a lot, we swear a lot. We're some vulgar guys, but at the end of the day, the reason we're dressed as spider people, the reason that comics are what they are, it's just because we love Stan Lee. I mean, we love all comics, but come on, man, Stan Lee was like, man, he
Right.
was the goat.
The
Like
GOAT. That's legit.
that's all there is to it. Now, getting back on track again. My bad. A lot of things to talk about. With this movie, it's essentially the story of Miles Morales, his origin story, him getting his powers. But it's like told with a really fun twist because I've read the Miles Morales comic series. It's a wonderful series. It really is, and it's a very similar storyline. But instead of just telling it traditionally, they've got all this extra stuff going on. Where in his universe, his Peter Parker, Spider-Man is locked in combat with Fisk and a couple of other enemies. Uh, who was it? I believe it was Prowler and Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to ruin specifics, as to how it goes. But if you know the Miles Morales storyline, then you know how that ends to an extent. So I'm going to try to not ruin those spoilers. But anyways, Fisk is in the midst of building. I guess what you could call like an interdimensional type of weapon that is going to open up multiple universes for reasons. Watch the movie, and Spider-Man's trying to shut it down, but that's kind of the catalyst to this whole movie is when he fires up this machine, it opens up these doorways that allows other Spider people to uh, enter or get dragged in, rather. For Miles' universe. So that's kind of how they all come to be. The only thing is, though, that makes this interesting is they're all veteran in their own right spider people already. And
Mm-hmm.
Miles, within let's say 24 hours of them appearing, has just received his powers. So he's not on their level. He doesn't know how to use them. He doesn't know how to web swing. He doesn't know anything. And I really, really enjoyed that about this movie because I can't stand superhero movies where you get a hero and he's like, I've got powers now, and they have like a clumsy, they take 5 to 10 minutes to show them kind of getting acclimated to their power set,
It's the
and that
training montage.
yeah, and that wasn't the case with Miles. I mean, they really put him through some stuff. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the majority of the film, was him just trying to get an understanding of his powers and what he could do with them. And I think that just made it more realistic to me. It really brought me to the screen because it's just like, all right, man, well, it's been like an hour. You still can't do X, Y, and Z, and he couldn't. And but it makes sense though.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm just a
So
kid. What do you want from me?
and then not only that, I mean, it's relatable because he's got a lot going on. This film has a lot going on, and somehow ties everything together where you never feel like it's too
It's too
much.
much. Yeah.
Like a Michael Bay film. He'll have a fight scene where there's so much going on you don't even know who's fighting. Is somebody dying? I don't know. And with this, it's just somehow they kept it grounded the whole time.
Yeah, and I feel like it was especially surprising because it's just because it was PG. It's a PG, so it was certain things that they that they I would say that they would steer away from, but they really didn't. You know what I mean? Like they kind of did what they needed to do in the best
Well,
way. Like I don't really know
well,
what I would do differently.
with it being a PG movie, was it PG or PG-13?
I'm pretty sure it was PG. You might have to look at the Googler.
Whatever. I hate you. But when you're when you're watching it, I wasn't expecting them to tackle adult issues the way they did because the way that they balance uh humor and it's sadness, depression, and everything. They balance it very tastefully because when you're going through this, you laugh like you would expect to in a superhero movie. There's a good amount of comedy. They don't overdo it. It's placed proportionately with everything, but there's some heavy scenes. There's without any immediate spoilers, there's deaths plural. It's a superhero movie. They don't candy kill anything, and I expected them to. I really did, and they didn't. They hit you, and you got to be ready for it. And it's like I know the story. There were things that I expected to see. or I shouldn't say expected, but that were in the realm of possibility. But I was like, oh no, they wouldn't possibly go there, and they do. And I think that it was worth my time. Like, it made it that much better. It sucks you in, and it's not so hard to swallow that I think it would, turn away children. Like,
Hmm.
it's not any worse than seeing Mufasa fall off the side of a cliff. Like, I'd say it's on par with that. Like, it hurts, but there's enough balance there where you, as a viewer, you come back.
Yeah.
You have to.
And then, and, and another thing that they kind of showed was just how life can, if you let it, it will definitely weigh you down by the end of it all. When they had Peter Parker, like he was my hero, man. Like, that was hilarious. Just the his mentor Peter Parker, like that was great. I don't.
Well, okay, so what me and Jay are talking about, this is a Spider Verse. There's multiple variations of Peter Parker in the film, uh, Spider Man, and there's two distinct Spider Man who have the classic Peter Parker like that you would expect to see without saying too much. And when you compare and contrast the two, it's really awesome because you've got one Parker that is in his 20s. He's been doing this for approximately 10 years, and he's got a very certain type of charisma about him. Everything that you would expect to see in Spider-Man. And honestly, the way they nailed the character, like, it warms your heart. It's just the way he says things when he's in certain amounts of danger, and he's having conversations with Miles, and he should be honestly, like, freaking out, or telling Miles to run away, or whatever. Like, he has a very level head, and he's witty. He's Spider-Man 100%, and you can't help but feel something for the way that he's doing everything. It's just so great. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got a more veteran Peter Parker that's been doing this for 20 years. He's in his I don't know if they said his age, but if the numbers were accurate, I would assume like later 30s. And this is a very relatable Peter Parker. It's a little sad in at points, but at the same time it's very relatable because he's been hit with waves of adulthood,
Right.
like, aggressively. Like, he's gone through it. He's gone through losses. He's gone through heartbreak. This is a Peter Parker who has spent years trying to do the right thing, and his moral compass is still pointing the right way, but barely,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
sometimes it just doesn't work out. You know what I mean? It's like he's doing all the right things, and like you said, he's going through it, and it's not even he's going through it as Spider-Man. Is stuff that Peter Parker is just going through. Like, Peter Parker, the man. You know what I mean? It's just.
Well, see, but that's my point, though, is you'll see a lot of movies, or honestly, tons of different versions of media, where you've got a character who's in the future to some degree, who's given up hope, or maybe like an anime or something where you have a villain who used to be a good guy,
Hmm.
and that's different. With this, Peter, and that's why I said he hasn't lost his moral compass. Like, he's still Spider-Man, but his, the you can tell, like, the fire has it's not out, but it's smaller.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting to see, like, how he attacks certain types of situations now. Like, it's still him, but it's a very different him. And I don't know, it added something to the movie that I wasn't expecting really at all. I seen the previews. I thought I had a pretty good idea going into it. But the previews are so shallow as to what it is that you're going to see, and you really get a good feel for it once you dive into this movie.
Yep.
I was gonna say that's it.
I'm
This is
like,
awkward
that's it.
silence.
All right, we can wrap it up. But no, man, no. And I mean, so all right. Well, see, I don't want to get into specifics. I don't want to. I don't want to do anybody in. But like, it's just Peter Parker was just so relatable just because of the sweatpants, and I'll just leave it at that. Like, that was just like, okay, I feel you. I understand. My body don't move like it used to either, man. I get it. You just want to wear sweatpants.
Man, and that's the thing. He hasn't really lost it, but he low key kind of lost it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a slippery slope. It was about gone. Like, yeah.
True. Now, the villains in this movie, um, it's interesting because they spent a lot of time on these Spider Verse characters. They give them a little bit of backstory. You kind of fall in love with them as much as you need to for the movie. I don't think it's too much, with the exception of Miles. Uh, but Kingpin, he's easily the main antagonist, and he's done well. But I realize, as we're sitting back and thinking about it, it's been what about maybe 12, 20 hours since we watched this movie. He was done very simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
He was just they didn't give him a lot of depth, and I do kind of question why they did that. I wonder if because it was so convoluted already with all these characters that they did do a good job on. If they felt like nah, if we go too deep in with Kingpin, that's gonna be too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna mess up the flow. So I would be interested to see why they did him the way that they did. But he is OP as hell. Without saying why, like they made him even more OP than he was in the 90s comics. Not comics. I want to say more specifically the 90s show. More people, I think, can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because there's times where he's fighting Spider-Man and he fucking pushes Spider-Man's shit in for no reason. You're just like, Jesus, man, you're just a big man. Like,
Right.
why? Spider-Man is a on a low scale, 10-ton hitter. On a high scale, without any power boost, he's a 20-ton hitter. So to see Fist, like, kind of pushing his shit in, you're like, oh, okay, all right. But I like that they did that though, because I hate when you have Fisk and he's portrayed as just like a normal guy, like completely,
Yeah.
who's just big. It makes it better. And there's a couple cool villains that were in this I didn't expect to see, like Hammerhead. I hadn't seen anything with Hammerhead in years. I didn't expect to see him. They made him fun. I don't think he was like a serious threat, like he is at times, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's good.
He's more so just like he was just like a henchman. But yeah, like you said, I was surprised to see him. Was surprised to see Scorpion was in there. I didn't expect him to pop up. But it makes sense just because it's so many heroes. They need to balance it out in some way. I'm already looking forward to the next one. I want to see what's going on, man. Because with the end credit scene, they had that, so you got to stick around for that. If you don't know how Marvel movies work. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to anything else that they talking about. I'll be there. I'll be
The end credits scene was definitely solid. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm not gonna say nothing about it. Just watch it. It's good. I hate when you see an end credit scene, like you wait like so long and then it's just trash. Like there was like no point to it.
there. Yeah, but it was great. This was probably one of the best end credit scenes just for just like entertainment value probably ever that I could think of.
I don't know. That Wreck-It Ralph one was pretty good too, though, with the damn bunny pancake and he was feeding them. I don't know if you've seen Wreck-It Ralph yet.
Yeah,
We
I'm
did a show
trash.
on it.
I'm trash.
Oh, okay. So we do shows on it. So because you didn't have to be there, you decided not to watch it.
No, that's not what it was at all. I just, I need a friend. I need a friend to go watch it with.
Well, you have a friend on the podcast, but I guess you didn't listen to the episode either, since you can't seem to pick up what I'm saying to you.
Come on, bro. Don't be like that.
No. My spider sense is tingling, and it's telling me
Those my
that you're a fucking coward.
bro. I will
Yeah,
swing. I will swing on you. I will thwip to your
with them
doorstep,
little baby hands.
bro. I'm like 14. What do you want from me, man?
I'm Peter Parker. If you keep getting out of pocket, I will alert our president because he likes us.
Right. He said, "Come on."
Our racist ass president. No politics on this show. I won't. We won't
He
go
said,
there.
right. He said, "We're not gonna go
I'm
into that."
sorry. Yeah, don't get mad. It's the president. He's a person. Okay, relax. It's gonna be alright.
I will not relax.
So you're so active. But yeah, I mean, overall, this movie was just it's something that you really got to see. It was an experience. DC is really, really good at doing animated movies. They are. I love DC animated movies,
Mhm.
and they never get anything on screen right for live action. Period. Like some of them are better than others. I'll give them that. I love Gal Gadot. I do like Henry Cavill. A lot of the actors I like on an individual basis. But the movies as a whole suck. I don't know if I blame Zack Schneider. I don't know where the blame goes. But with animated movies, they're always there. And Marvel animated movies, in my opinion, have always been kind of like
Yeah.
They're not bad, but they're not like they don't hold up to DC movies at all
Yeah.
for animated.
Yeah, because they're ridiculous. The DC movies are they always been on point. Like
They're just so, with the exception of Batman and Harley Quinn, that's the worst garbage I've ever seen.
he said,
It was
"Fighting
bad.
nuns, I'm good."
It was just bad. But with this, I mean, I'm so interested to see what this does for Marvel in the future. Granted, Sony did this, but they did it so well that it's on par. Honestly, I enjoyed it more than some of the Marvel movies that have come out live action wise.
I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And I think that this might be a game changer. Like I really think like the style that they put into it. The urban references, the balance of light and dark. All these different characters that are in there. I think that this might be the way to go. Um, so I mean, Sony. If somebody from there's watching, listening, probably not because I make too many jokes about him. Although I am wearing your Spider-Man PS4 suit.
Right? He said,
It's a great costume. I love that game. But I just, I hope that they deliver the same kind of heat, and even more so, I would love to see, other variations other than just Spider-Man. Imagine, what they could do if they can work things out right with Marvel. I mean, they've got rights to a lot of characters still.
mm-hmm.
Don't do that Tom Hardy shit no more though.
He said you could leave that alone. But I mean, if they like, like you said, if they wanted to do X-Men, I'll be down with an animated X-Men movie. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're trying to bring them over to the cinematic
Nah,
universe.
nah. I mean, in all honesty, like as we're talking though, a lot of this stuff won't happen just because who owns the rights and all that, yada yada yada.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, who knows? I mean, a partnership is always, certainly a possibility. This movie did very well, but Disney's also very greedy. So, once Disney sees this taken off, they may, try to, get their hands in the pot. You know how it goes. So, we sit back, we see how it goes. The way it's gonna go though is in 10 years there'll be a sequel. Disney will have bought out that part from Sony, and it'll be Wreck-It Ralph and Spider-Man, and it's just probably not gonna be good. Individually they're great, but together I might be a little hurt by it. Let's just be honest.
You're like, what is happening here?
But we're almost at time, so before I go, I think it's pretty clear, where we stand on this movie. Um, Things that I just wanted to mention before we go out though is on a personal level. I'm so excited to see, Miles Morales finally coming to light. To see, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. To see a minority character, be the front man on the main screen. It did. It's going to do wonders for this youth and the generation because it's not to take away anything from Caucasian superheroes. I love them. I love them all. I love Peter Parker. Like the bottom of my heart. Like it's just one of my favorite superheroes. But I wish growing up that I had somebody that I could look to that looked like me.
Hmm.
Somebody that like just
and
makes sense.
and don't have them be like a D-list hero. Like this is A-list, top of the food chain Spider-Man right here. Like this is the real deal. And like you said, it's different. It's different, and it's his time. It's he had a little bit of shine in the game. I'm assuming that he's gonna get a little more in the next one. I'm waiting for that to see how that's gonna go. But he's getting his
Most
movie
definitely.
time. So it's definitely it is cool to see that they are doing that, and I do appreciate it.
And another thing I like about him though is that like he's not over the top. Like he's a regular ass kid because
Hmm.
there's so many superheroes. Like take Cyborg for instance. Like Cyborg's backstory sucks, but his dad was also like a world renowned scientist. It was just like too much.
Right.
And then the other side, you often have superheroes, where because they're a minority, they freaking come from the bum shanties. Miles is a good kid, a good head on his shoulders. He ends up transferring to another school where there's not as many minorities, and he's having a complex trying to fit in, and I think that's very relatable.
Hmm.
Like he's trying to be himself, but like it's not clicking, and you get to watch the process of not only him slowly becoming Spider-Man and learning how to fight crime, but he's making new friends and learning how to fit into an environment he's not used to. And his father is a police officer, and that's a whole other thing. Like the relationship in this movie between him and his dad. Like his dad is a good dude. Like
Hmm.
he really is. But their relationship with each other is the best way I can describe it is they misunderstand each other. It's like his dad is trying to send out good vibes, but Miles just doesn't seem to, it's not resonating with him the way that it should be. His dad means the right thing, but his dad says it at the wrong place and time, and it just
Hmm.
kind of messes things up. And really vice versa. Miles, he does certain things, but his dad on the outside, he can only see so much. He doesn't know about him being Spider-Man, and it's just it's hard to watch, but it's really, really good.
Hmm.
It makes a great story, I'd say. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Jay, before we go, is there anything that you would like to add?
If you were on the fence about watching this movie, don't be. Go do it. Go do it right now. The podcast is over. Go watch the movie. The end.
Is it the end?
Yes. Right. It's just like, and scene.
Jay, you take him out.
Oh, all right, guys. Thanks for listening. I love you more than he does. Know that. That's all I got. Until next
No,
time.
you.
I don't know. Wait. Well, you already hit him with the website and everything. We got anything else to hit him with? I don't know. I don't have my list.
I like how I point at you. I say no, you. Just like the Spider-Man thing. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
Look, I can't
Spider-Man
see,
meme.
man. I can't. I can
There's two
barely
spider
see.
people. They look at each other. They say no, you. He
No,
didn't.
you
He didn't
do
get
it.
it. The joke went over his head. No, it's too late. It's too late.
It's gone.
It's
It's
late.
dead. Right?
Yeah. It was a great idea. You know, sounds good. Doesn't work. No, but again, head over to bodysnatcherspodcast.com. Thank you everybody for checking out. This might be one of the last shows that we launch, before Christmas. I think we might squeeze in one more. Actually, we're definitely squeezing one more. But if you don't catch that show in time, I just wanted to say happy holidays. Thank you everybody for listening. I'm not gonna say Merry Christmas because that's it's happy holidays. Like, people believe in more shit than Christmas, so stop being a prick. Just say happy holidays.
Happy holidays from JJ.
I just made somebody mad. Have a good night, guys.
How dare you? All right. Peace.